Welcome back to the Infinite Lifetime Sutra. I'm your host Angelina. Today we shall continue with vows number 19 and 20. Yesterday we did a very important vow number 18. That vow that says that 10 chants of Amitabha's name can bring us to Western Pure Land. Okay, and the explanation is extensive. Um, Sufficient for you to understand what that means. Okay, so now we look at vows number 19 and 20. So 我做佛时，十方众生闻我名号，发菩提心，修诸功德，奉行六波罗蜜，坚固不退，复以善根回向，愿寻我国，一心念我，昼夜不断，不令寿终时，我与诸菩萨众迎现其前，今须臾见，积圣我刹，作阿惟越之菩萨，不得虚愿，不取正觉。So, vows number 19 and 20 within this phrase. 19 is 闻名持心愿. Okay, so in this phrase, it says that when I become a Buddha, all the beings from the 10 directions, once they hear my name, will bring them to realize their Bodhi heart. Okay, to bring them to the desire to become a Bodhisattva, to become a Buddha. Okay, and will accumulate the merits to do good. Okay, to have the perfections of the paramitas, of the qualities of the patience, that respect and everything. Okay, the paramitas, and they will not fall back to their old ways. And once they have done all these, okay, every single merit that they have done, they have accumulated, they will use all these merits to dedicate with the will to reincarnate or migrate to Amitabha's Pure Land. Okay, and with their one-heartedness, okay, with just one focus in their heart, they will only think of me. Okay, think of Amitabha Buddha. Okay, and it will be day and night. When they reach the time at the end of their current lifespan, that means this present body when it has to expire, Amitabha Buddha and all the other bodhisattvas of Pure Land will come and receive this person. Okay, and they will welcome this person into the Pure Land. Okay, and once this person goes to Pure Land, this person automatically becomes a bodhisattva as well. Okay, and if this vow does not come to realization, then Amitabha will not become a Buddha. Okay, so again, since Amitabha is the Buddha, that is his vow, this vow is already realized. Okay, 阿惟越之菩萨, this position of a bodhisattva is not a low level bodhisattva. Okay, if we talk about hierarchy, you just think of it as if, okay, in your mundane understanding, we shall use the analogy of management. Okay, if you were to think of a company, a manufacturing company, okay, if a normal being will be like the production workers. Okay, day and night they are working, but there is no objective. There is nothing else except that they want to earn their own living, to live their own life. And when you look at those who have transcended to become a first level saint, or to have dispelled the first ignorance to become a bodhisattva, then this person becomes a team leader. And then from a team leader, the next level of bodhisattva is considered supervisor. And then after that, there is the assistant manager, then the manager. And when we're talking about 阿惟越之菩萨, okay, this level of the bodhisattva is not low. Okay, it is, you can equivalent it to the D levels, the director levels. Okay, not yet the C levels. The C levels are those like the the CEO. Okay, if you were to consider Amitabha Buddha as the CEO of the company, then you will have all the great bodhisattvas like Avalokitesvara, Samattabhadra Bodhisattva, Maitreya Bodhisattva, Maitreya Buddha. Okay, all these are the top C levels. Okay, those who sit with him, like when in a company you have the CFO, the chief HR officer, the chief customer officer. Okay, all the C levels, the top of their ranks, and we imagine that Amitabha is the CEO. And then when we're talking about these Aryatapusha, these are the directors, okay? Probably like the HR directors who reports to the chief of HR, chief HR officer, okay? So the HR director reports to the CHRO. So it is to that level, the D level, not even to a senior manager level. Automatically, the moment you step into Pure Land, you achieve that D level. Okay, so you can imagine how much time you have saved. Okay, skipping from ground level that we have now, going up straight into that D level. Okay, it is if you go through another Buddha's world, okay, like Kashyapa Buddha, Vairochana Buddha, or any other Buddhas, okay, you need to go through 5 asankeyas, okay, 5 asankeyas. That's a very, very long time, okay. And if you were to go into Amitabha's Pure Land, you skip 2 asankeyas. So that means you only have 3 asankeyas left as a high-ranking official, as a high-ranking bodhisattva, okay, with your supernatural powers, with your abilities, and it makes things a lot simpler. Just 3 more asankeyas, then you can become a Buddha yourself. Okay, but a lot of times, if you were to look at stories such as the Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva, okay, Bizang Pusa, Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva was said to have been there for the longest of time. Okay, where is he? He is in hell. Okay, in the ghost room in hell. His vow was that if the hell is not empty, he will not become a Buddha. That is as vast as his wish was, and it is also okay when the Buddhas speak about the Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva Sutra, 地藏菩萨本愿经, okay, they can just tell you that Kshitigarbha was there for the longest of time, and they also respect as Buddhas, okay, they also respect Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva for his sacrifice, okay, for his teachings when the Buddhas were not even Bodhisattvas yet, okay, they're also mortals like us, okay, the Buddhas were also mortal like us, and they were doing mistakes, right, and they too encountered Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva in hell, and Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva was there to teach them the Dharma, to give them the opportunity to listen to the Dharma. Okay, so you can imagine the merits of Kshitigarbha Bodhisattva. He can already become a Buddha. In fact, he already is a Buddha, but he chose to take on the manifestation of a Bodhisattva, okay, and stay there to share the Dharma to the lower realms of existence. Okay, so each of us, all of us, would have seen him before. All of us would have encountered him before. All of us would have heard him preaching the Dharma to us before. But we forget. Okay, we may not remember the exact words, but if for those who does have a heart to repent and we hold the teachings dearly, okay, if a person holds Shidikaba Bodhisattva's teachings very dearly and still encounter his sutra in this lifetime. Okay, I have the sutra with me, so if we finish this Infinite Lifetime Sutra, if there's any demand for the 地藏菩萨本愿经 this Dhamma, I will just share the Dhamma talk for this one. So if you encounter that book again and then you read the book and it feels as if you are seeing Shidikaba Bodhisattva again in person. Okay, you have seen him before in the past instance. And then this person, when he reincarnates, he does good. He may not remember the words exactly, but it becomes his nature. He does good. He does charity without flaunting. He helps others without asking for favors, right? It is through this generosity, and every single one of us have encountered Shidikaba Bodhisattva for countless times. So he teaches us the Dhamma, and he too would have preached us about the Amitabha Buddha. Okay? Because all Buddhas teach about Amitabha Buddha, not just our Sakyamuni Buddha. All Buddhas do that. Okay? So he's teaching us, and then we come into this life. If we still hold on to the purity of our hearts, to the original clarity that we have, the calmness that we have, we will not be easily taken by the greed, anger, and hatred of this world. We will not chase after external material gains. We will not chase after money. Okay, but instead we will be looking at how to improve our lives, upholding our integrity, our honesty, our sincerity in the way that we treat others, our compassion for other people. Okay, we will hold on to those qualities and not betray all these good qualities in return for money. Okay, so that is how people start to elevate. Okay, if you listen to Shidikaba Bodhisattva and then when you come out for reincarnation, you continue to do good after you listen to him, you really repent and you do good, you will be able to elevate. Okay, and if you encounter this sutra, this Infinite Lifetime Sutra that I'm speaking to you right now, okay, your merits are ripe. Okay, your karma have ripened for you to be able to accept the teachings and to practice Amitabha's Pure Land Buddhism. Okay, and how do you practice? It is very simple. Every single day you just chant Amituofo, Amituofo, Amituofo. And when you hear the name Amituofo, you feel light. You feel good because, as I've said in the previous talk, okay, that Amitabha is not just a name for this Buddha. Amitabha is also calling ourselves our inner Buddha, the real person within us, the real one. Okay, the one that was already here before our first birth. Before our first birth, as in before we are being born through our parents. Okay, before we exist in this existence, before we start jumping into this endless and mindless loop of existence, cycle of existence. Okay, so before our first birth, we were just an energy source. Okay, and our energy source, because of one ignorance, our energy source, instead of staying there and satisfied, suddenly there was a question. And the moment when that suddenly we have a question, it burst into the entire universe existence as we know of today. Okay, so when science talk about the Big Bang and stuff like that, you have to understand that how it burst out. Okay, there is, to just tell you very simply, this beginning, this very first spark, that curiosity, the entire thing just comes up. Okay, it is not like a process, like science is trying to figure out. Okay, science is using the wrong concept of figuring out, saying that they think, okay, the scientists think, they think that it has to go through processes like the formation of a tiny rock or whatever, then slowly the thing grows, and then after that the thing flourish into something like this, blah 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 blah, and your scientist is still trying to backtrack, trying to find out the first origin of the universe, when in fact you won't be able to find it that way. Okay, unless you take on that understanding that the universe just happens. Okay, there is no seed, no germ, nothing. The universe just happens because of that first spark of ignorance. Asking one question, everything just came out. Okay, so when you look at the Brahma, okay, when Sakyamuni Buddha was explaining about the Paticcasamuppada Sutra, he explained that at that time, before our first birth, okay, everything was quiet, and suddenly somebody had a spark, a thought, kaboosh, the entire universe came out. And then that first sparked the first person. Okay, this first person, he assumed that he is the only one, the first one, and therefore he thinks himself lonely. Okay, and then he sparked a thought. I wish someone was here. He sparked that thought, and because of his first thought, it sparked another person's first thought, and another energy cell just burst into being. And this second energy cell burst into being, thought that this first person, the Brahma, was his creator. And the Brahma himself really thought that he created this person out of his thought. So, and so it goes, okay? Over and over until for aeons, all these things is just burst and it happens. And then suddenly, okay, there comes the Buddhas. Okay, who are the Buddhas? The Brahmas, the first spark and the many sparks after, they are just sparks because of all that ignorance. Okay, they just keep creating and creating. And suddenly there comes the Buddha, enlightenment. And they decided, actually, it's all just that. Okay, it's just all that. Ignorance. The moment you know ignorance, kapish, there comes the supernova. End of it. Okay, I understand my origin of existence. I understand how it happened. And then I'll say, that's it. Okay, put a stop to it. Put a stop to all this mindless need to go through the cycle of existence. Put a stop to all this suffering that we are encountering. Put a stop to the need to be birthed, to be matured, to have diseases, and to die, and then to reborn again. Put a stop to everything. Okay, that is the Buddhas. Okay, so back to our 19th and 20th vow. The moment you hear Amitabha's name, you're calling to your inner Buddha self. And when you're calling to your inner Buddha self, okay, you have peeled off all your mortal knowledge, you're pure inner Buddha. That's when you realize that you are actually the Buddha. And you have rediscovered the real you. Okay? The real you is not what we are talking about today. It's not about discovering yourself, go for your self-discovery, and then after that you come out emerging, I am a freedom person, blah 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 blah. It's not about that. Okay, it is about discovering who you really are and your ability to truly understand what is the truth of the entire universe. Okay, and when you know it, you also don't feel any ego about it, because as they said it in the Diamond Sutra, okay, the Sotapanna, that means the first stage of sainthood. When a person reaches the first stage of sainthood, he doesn't call himself a first stage sainthood just because he doesn't call himself, therefore he is the first stage of sainthood. So because there is no such label, Okay, even the Buddha does not need to label himself as a Buddha because he has already become a Buddha. Okay, so is I can make it into a simple example, like a really rich man need not label himself a really rich man. Okay, he does not even need to label himself with expensive clothes or whatever flashy ones. He does not even need to do that. Okay, but he already reaching the status of a very rich man. He does not need to label because the money is just that as is. He already know that money is just that. Okay, so when the Buddha realizes he is a Buddha, okay, when he achieved that Buddhahood, okay, when he becomes the Buddha, he does not even need to say that he himself is a Buddha, okay, but due to our ignorance, he has to differentiate it because we differentiate it. We differentiate ourselves mortals to the Bodhisattvas. We differentiate ourselves mortals to to the Buddhas, right? There is a distinction. So to ease our understanding, then the Buddha will call this call this Bodhisattva, call us beings, call these different names. Okay? All the names, when you reach to that stage, all these names are meaningless. Okay? You have reached a state where everything is just as is. Right? As is, if you look at the sutra, every time in the English sutras or even the Chinese sutras, every time they say 如是我闻, thus have I heard. So this thus means that it is as is. It was reported as is. The sutras were reported by Ananda as is, without him adding his judgment, without him putting in his reviews about it, nothing. He just tells it as the story itself, what the Buddha said, what happened over there. He observed which being said what to the Buddha, how many people are there, and how the Buddha responded exactly the same. So it is an as is. So if you were to look at a phone, it is an as is. If you were to look at this thing, it is also an as is. But because of our mortal understanding, we will label it as a ruler. Okay, otherwise it is just a combination of things that scientists label as atoms. Okay, so the atoms, they combine themselves, they bind themselves into a material. Okay, this is, I think, stainless steel. Yeah, this is stainless steel. Okay, so they combine it into something which we label it as stainless steel, and then it is being made with marks. Okay, with all kinds of marks. So we label it as a ruler, but actually, to the Buddhas, to the high level Bodhisattvas, everything is as is. And the Bodhisattvas, they will know theoretically, okay, but slowly, okay, every single Bodhisattva level that they reach, the more they discard. And when you reach the level of the Buddha, everything is just as is. Okay, there is nothing up, nothing down, nothing a growing, nothing a lesser. Okay, everything is as how it should be, as what it should happen. Okay, because everything is based on karma. It's like, for example, if you see a planet grow and then a planet diminish, a planet burst itself, okay, or a planet flourish, it is as is. Okay, nothing to do with what we humans call as the progress, as the development or anything. Okay, but remember, I also read the Bazi. Okay, so in the Bazi, it is already stated what kind of life are you destined to have. And for certain people, at certain age, you're supposed to have certain things, certain events happening in your life, because that is actually based on karma. And then when you read the Liao Fan Si Xun, all these things can still, even though your destiny says such. Okay, if you accumulate merits, you'll be able to turn your life around. Destiny turned around. Okay, when you turn your destiny around with the correct way, using the Dharma, accumulating your merits, then this turnaround is a positive one. Okay, and this positive turnaround will change the way your life is. But still, because of this thing, it still happens as is, and your reaction creates another as is. Okay, so ultimately, you are also still destined to achieve greatness. Like Liao Fan Sejun, do you think that he just changed his life because of encountering that monk? Actually, he was also destined to meet that monk, right? So if he was destined to meet that monk and then he managed to change his life, that is also part of his destiny, which is supposed to happen as is. Okay? It's not that he intentionally took the initiative for that thing, but because in the past he had planted a seed. Okay, he has done something beyond the ordinary, and he had grown himself into that path. So that path is going as is. We have paths. We can choose which path we want to go to. Okay, and I don't know if you have read those kind of books before. When you read a certain book, they ask you, if you choose choice one, then you go to this page. If you choose choice two, you go to another page. Okay, it's the same. When you choose page, you're gonna choose choice one, you go to this page. Then the turnout of events will be like that. And if you choose another option, you go to the other page, and the events will turn out with another option. Okay, so this is the truth. Okay, because the truth is just as is. So since it is all as is, things will just happen as it goes. But how to differentiate between a Buddha and a normal person and a bodhisattva is how much you can let go. If today you know that things will turn out as is, everything is as is, you are just going to observe as is. Okay, instead of having agitation, instead of having a reaction to every single thing, you remain calm. Happiness does not make you excited. Sadness does not trigger your tears. Everything happens as is. It's a normal thing. Okay, you do that, expect this to happen. It's normal. Okay, the more you are able to let go this way, the more you will see, because when you let go, you have that openness to observe. And when you observe, then you see more of these things. And then the more you see, the more you understand, you just let go. And it goes on and on. A lot more. A lot more. Letting go and seeing, understanding, and then letting go some more and seeing some more. Seeing more, understanding more, and letting go even more. Okay? And eventually, you become a Buddha. The more you let go, you become a Buddha. Okay? Because ultimately, it still goes back to one thing. Seeing all these things and letting go, it shows that you are observing the movements of karmic events, the law of cause and effect. Okay? So it's all that is, right? Nothing more, nothing less. It's as is. Okay? So going back to the sutra, you accumulate the merits and then you want to build yourself to go to Amitabha's Pure Land, because you can save time, you can save energy, and when you go there, you already achieve that high ranking, high level of bodhisattva. You can do many things. You can help other people. You can help those people that you have long forgotten from many past lifetimes. Okay, because remember, one of the things that you'll get is that you'll be able to know all the lifetimes that you have passed before. Okay, so you can go back and help your loved ones. That is the only time that you can go and help your loved ones. And if you want to stay forever with your loved ones, then you cultivate going to Pure Land together. Okay, because that place has an infinite lifespan. You don't die. You love that person very much. You will aspire for that person to go to Pure Land with you. Then you will definitely be together forever and ever and ever. Okay, and then once you have gone there, okay, you will be able to constantly learn, constantly receive the teachings of all the Buddhas in all 10 directions. And of course, Amitabha as well. He is not just a vehicle to bring you over to his land. He is the chief teacher of that land. Okay, so everything that you encounter is a dharma talk, is a teaching. Alright, so okay, so we have seen um vow until vow 20 today. Okay, so we shall continue with vow 21 in the next one. Okay, 21 is a long one, standalone by itself. Hmm. Okay, another important one. Alright, so I'll see you again in the next episode of the Infinite Lifetime Sutra. So meanwhile, chant Amituofo. Okay, so see you again next time. Bye bye.